YAMATO, California premiered at the Festival de Nouveau Cinema in Montreal, in the Panorama International section, which is centered on social issues. Dealing with a problem in Japanese society little known to the rest of the world, the film was praised by both the audience and critics.
The audience at the Nouveau Cinema Montreal was very amazing and very understanding. Lots of the audience there told me they can't believe such a rebellious film would come out of Japan.
We went to Yamato City and asked director Miyazaki about his motivation for setting the film in his hometown.
This city contains a big US base, which is very quiet, and you don't feel it's there normally, but it has a big influence in the city. And I thought that would be like a great metaphor for Japan, because US is beside us all the time. You know, politically and culturally, we can't separate, but no one thought about the relation so seriously using a film after the 60s and the 70s. Hip-hop and rock music, both from USA, basically. It's a good theme to think about. Is Japan only doing a copy of USA music, or are we doing something very original, renting just the shape of the genre of the music? And that's very close to the theme of trying to find a Japanese identity, which is the main topic of this film.
So now we have a film by director Miyazaki, who is from this town, Yamato. We have the presence of the American military, which sort of draws a line between the Japanese part of Yamato and what people refer to as a part of California. Mm-hmm. So very interesting environment to grow up in here.
An unbelievable environment, something that is a leftover from World War II, that is in your face every day.
Yeah.
That military base of Atsugi. There's a fence that restricts you. So you're in Japan, but you can't go there.
Right.
It's Japan, but it's not Japan. That is a fascinating perspective. And for somebody to have the courage to show that in a film, I think the director, who is somebody that previously was involved with Tokyo Sonata as an assistant director. And the cinematographer was the same as well. I think they've done a great job in showing that, highlighting, and it's very clear and present that he's from that place, because the journey that he shows visually, you feel like a local.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful to feel that, because you get that sense of that presence, that American base always being there. It's never going to go away. And whether or not you see it or not, whether you could be indoors, but you're going to hear the planes.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting that this is largely a film about a character wanting to be a hip-hop artist, which is music-based, which is sound-based. I'd hate to be trying to rehearse something in that town with all of those military planes flying over. It's deafening.
Yeah.
Our character of Sakura, there's dreams of not having a voice and not being able to speak before people or sing, perform before people. It's a great, in essence, metaphor in that here she is growing up and she doesn't feel like she is Japanese, or who is she?
Yeah.
How does she express herself? She mentions that she's part of The Walking Dead, and she needs to discover that herself, and she does it so nicely.
Exactly. Well, I'm afraid that's all the time we have today, but it's been wonderful talking with you. Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure.
And thank you for tuning in. We hope to see you again on the next episode of J-Flicks.